Hello, this is Peace Daddy, Mr. Dollar here, and today we are going to be doing activity number 9. This is activity number 9 in our series of lessons from Mixtures and Solutions, and the title that you should be writing in your science notebook today is Cold and Very Cold. The items that we're going to need, the materials, are a few ice cubes, salt, I have my salt right here, 2 containers, 1, 2, and thermometers. And these are the 2 thermometers that we're going to use today. Okay, so the directions say to put the ice into the 2 containers, in one of them add some salt. Now place the thermometers inside the containers. After some time, compare the temperatures. What do you observe? Okay, so in this glass, we're going to put a few cubes of ice. And in this glass, we're going to put a few cubes of ice. Whoops, let's even that up just a little bit. Make sure we have the same amount. And I will tell you before we start that the temperature of when something is freezing of ice is 32 degrees Fahrenheit and 0 degrees Celsius. So this one we're gonna leave just ice, and this glass we're gonna add salt to it. So I'm just gonna sprinkle a little bit of salt on the top, like that, so that we can have some salt in that one. And we're gonna start at, this thermometer says 68 degrees. That's called room temperature. And I'm gonna place that one inside of this glass, like that. And this one says 70 degrees. And that's also very close to room temperature. And we're gonna place this one in this glass. Okay, and this is just a waiting game. So we just have to sit and wait and see what happens. While we're waiting, what I would like for you to do is make a prediction in your science notebook. Do you think the salt, which is in this glass, is going to have any effect on the temperature or not? So that's your prediction. If you were going to write that as a hypothesis, you might say, if I add salt to ice, the temperature will go down. Or you could say the exact opposite of that. You could say, if I add salt to ice, then the temperature will go up. So those would be your 2 choices for your hypothesis. And remember, in a hypothesis, doesn't matter if your answer that you wrote is right or if the answer that you wrote is wrong. What matters about a hypothesis is that you state the hypothesis correctly. You make sure that you have a cause and you make sure that you have an effect. Okay, so we're just going to give it 1 more minute and then we will take a look at the temperatures to see what's different. So if you have a timer, you can set it for 60 seconds and then we will come back. All right, so we're about halfway there. I'm just gonna do a quick temperature check and see what's happened. This one is the no salt, and I'm looking at that, and it is right at 50 degrees. This is the one that has no salt, and it's sitting right at 50 degrees. So I'm gonna tuck it back in there. And this is the one that has salt in it, and it is about 25 degrees. So I'm going to tuck that one back in there, okay? Make sure they're touching the ice. And gonna give it just a few more seconds and see what happens. And you may be noticing that there seems to be a little less ice in here. I think this ice is melting and this ice is not really doing a lot of melting just yet. So this one's turning into water a little more quickly. So let's take a look at the back of the card. We always have a statement on the back of the card, and that tells us what we should have learned. So it says temperatures of the ice cubes where salt was added is much lower. The cold of ice is not the coldest. There are temperatures that are much, much lower, such as the temperature of interstellar space. Compared to that cold, the ice is as hot as a fire. Okay? So this is a practical application that we use. This is down to about 28 degrees now on this thermometer. We use this on roads a lot, not where we live in Bluffton, South Carolina. This one's down to about 40 degrees on that thermometer. But in places north of us, maybe north of Virginia, we have places that they put salt on the roads. And what that does is it makes the temperature a lot lower than 32 degrees before ice will form on the road. And that makes it a lot safer for people to travel. So think about if it's 32 degrees outside and normally there would be ice on the road, my car might be slipping and sliding around. But if I put salt on the road before the ice storm ever happens, then I'm not gonna get any ice on the roads until a much lower temperature. So it makes things safer for people. So that's one of the practical applications of it. All right, so this has been number 9 in our series of lessons. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.